Ciao, homie. So the 2021 Rogue Invitational Strongman Contest has come to a conclusion, and we have your overall standings and podium predictions. Let's have a look. Starting off in 10th place, we have Jerry Prickett, who ends up with 12 points. I had predicted him to be in 10th. He actually ended up in 10th place, and that broke out into 4 points on the elephant bar deadlift for Jerry Prickett, 1 point on the seer dumbbell medley, 2 points on the wheel of pain, 1 point on the yoke log medley, and 4 points on the natural inverse stones. Moving on up, in 9th place, we have Mikhail Shivlyakov, who ended up with a total of 13.5 points. That breaks out into 1.5 points on the elephant bar deadlift, 3 points on the seer dumbbell medley, 4 points on the wheel of pain, 2 points on the yoke log medley, and 3 points on the inverse stone 5-stone challenge. In 8th place, we have Luke Stoltman, who comes away with 22 points, and that breaks out into 3 points on the elephant bar deadlift, 4 points on the seer dumbbell medley, 6 points on the wheel of pain, 4 points on the yoke log medley, and 5 points on the inverse stones for Luke Stoltman for 8th place. In 7th place, we have Brian Shaw. So Brian Shaw, who I had predicted originally, I think, to be 7th place, but then I redid some of my predictions and put him in 2nd, so probably should have stuck with what I originally had, although you can't foresee injuries. So 7th place for Brian, with the hamstring injury he suffered on day 1, comes away with 23 points, and that broke out into 7 points on the elephant bar deadlift, so a good start for him. Seer dumbbell medley, 7 points as well. Wheel of pain, 3 points. Yoke log medley, 5 points for Brian. And then in the inverse stones, we had, if you've watched my other videos, you would have seen I described he only got 1 point there because he didn't attempt it, really. He didn't want to aggravate his injury any further and kind of just went and touched it and called it a day. Rob Kearney comes away in 6th place, so 1 place worse than what I had predicted, 26 points for Rob. That broke into 6 points on the elephant bar deadlift, 5 points on the seer dumbbell medley, 5 points on the wheel of pain, 3 points on the yoke log medley, and 7 points for Rob Kearney on the inverse stone, so that puts him in 6th place. We move on up to JF Caron, who finishes in 5th place with a total of 28 points. JF wins the elephant bar deadlift with 10 points, 2 points on the seer dumbbell medley, so not so great there, 1 point on the wheel of pain. Yoke log medley was a good one for JF, 7 points there. And then 8 points on the inverse stones for JF Caron to finish very strong and put himself in 5th place overall. 4th place went to Mateusz Klizkowski, so he finished with 29.5 points, and that broke out into 1.5 points on the elephant bar deadlift, where he zeroed, but then came back very strong, so seer dumbbell medley was 8 points for Mateusz. Wheel of pain was 8 points for Mateusz. He then came away with 10 points winning the yoke log medley, and then only 2 points on the inverse stone. So imagine where Mateusz would have placed if he had done, tried harder, if he was fully healthy enough to try harder on the inverse stones. And, if he's able to get his deadlift up one of these days, he's going to be a real threat on sets of events similar to these. So we have our podium. Alexi Novakov, who I had predicted to win, comes in 3rd, actually. 34 points for Alexi. He gets 5 points on the elephant bar deadlift. He comes away with 10 points winning the seer dumbbell medley in maybe the most dramatic moment of the whole show for the strongmen. So go to the Rogue Fitness channel and watch if you haven't yet. You definitely want to see it for that moment, if for nothing else. And there were a lot of other great moments as well. Wheel of pain, 7 points for Alexi. Yoke log medley, 6 points. And the inverse stone, 6 points. So he comes away with kind of finishing with a couple more mediocre points, which didn't help much in trying to boost him up any higher. But he does make the podium. Alexi Novakov, number 3. So that leaves us with number 2 and number 1. Number 2, Tom Stoltman comes in 2nd place with considerably more points. So 42 points for Tom Stoltman. 9 points on the elephant bar deadlift, did exceptionally well there. Sear dumbbell medley was 6 points for Tom. Wheel of Pain, he ends up winning with 10 points, and they had said he never did this before in competition. Then we have the yoke log medley. Tom gets 8 points there. The inverse stones, 9 points for Tom Stoltman. So quite a few very high scoring events for Tom, leaving him in second place overall at the 2021 Rogue Invitational. And then we have our overall winner, and that is the Return of the Dragon. Can I say that? Martins Lichis. First place for him, 45 points. And I gotta say, I had predicted him to be pretty high fourth place, but I'm surprised that after such a long absence and the injuries he's been through, he can come back and dominate in this way. Just huge congratulations to Martins. He had 8 points on the elephant bar deadlift, 9 points on the Sear dumbbell medley, 9 on the Wheel of Pain, and there were discussions saying, like, he's in the lead and hasn't even won an event yet. No, but he was second in 2 of them, so let's give him credit where credit is due. He was not only consistent, but whatever the word is that's better than consistent. Super consistent. Yoke log, 9 points again, and then he wins the inverse stones, 10 points there. So Martins Lichis is your 2021 Rogue Invitational champion. Again, congratulations to our podium finishers, Martins Lichis, Tom Stoltman, and Alexi Novakov. Thanks again for joining me on my blog, Strongest Man, on this Halloween weekend. And of course, until next time, yeah!